Hello, and welcome to another episode of playonultra versus. This time it will be Coddi Gaming, aka Nathan, a core member of the main podcast. How are you, man?
Not bad, man. I ain't had work today, so
you work today?
Good. No, I didn't. I ain't got work until Tuesday, so
nice.
Yeah.
So, playonultra versus is a small little spin-off where we get to know people, especially more on the gaming front. So I know we just recorded yesterday for the main show, but I usually start off by asking, what are you playing? I know what you're gonna say.
Actually, no. I have. I woke up at 4 p.m. today, so I haven't really been doing much at all. I was just on a call with Fo because we're trying to figure out how to get because we're going to be doing Deponia together. Oh,
nice.
But we can't figure out how to stream both our audio and our video to each other. So I need to, if I'm playing the game, I need to stream my audio and video to him.
Yeah, and record at the same time.
Exactly, we're having a massive problem with that. I don't exactly know how we're going to fix it, but still trying to figure it out. But apart from that, I woke up at like 4, and then I just read my book for about 3 hours, and then just went out for a drink. So I haven't really been doing it.
You mean your WoW book?
Yeah.
I mean your Warcraft?
Yeah.
Which one again? Arthas, is it?
No. I've already read that. Jaina Pride, More Tides of War.
One thing I wanted to ask. You always say League of Legends, so why are you so crazy about League of Legends? Or why is it you don't... I feel that these days you don't really give as much time to other games.
It's because until I started playing League of Legends, I did 15 years of dedicating my time to every game out there. I used to be, believe it or not, I used to be a console gamer way back when. And I played every game that came out. And I did on the PC. When I started playing on the PC, I played every game I could get my hands on. But then I've always been quite a competitive person. I don't like to lose. So when I picked up a professional game, it started off with StarCraft. I picked up StarCraft 2 when it came out, about a year after it came out, so in about 2011. And I played that 9 hours a day, and then didn't really go anywhere with that. So then I picked up League of Legends, and then I picked up Dota, and now I'm back to League of Legends. No, I just enjoy it. I like the competitive aspect. I like beating people. I always have. Yeah.
Do you not find kind of get boring after playing so much of one game?
I don't think. I think if a game doesn't have replayability, then yes. But League of Legends, games like League of Legends and StarCraft are so good at replay value. At least for me, it's because it's different every time. People like to say, "Oh, it's the same," but it's not. Every game is different. Literally every game.
I've never played Dota 2?
I used to. I used to play semi-professionally.
Why not Dota 2? Why LOL?
Because I was never going to be good enough at Dota 2 to get anywhere with it.
Do you actually prefer LOL over Dota 2?
As a game, no. I think that Dota 2 is a far superior game. I think it's just far superior to League of Legends. Not that League of Legends is bad. League of Legends gets a bad name, but it's an incredibly well-designed game. But Dota is just far and away the best designed game I've ever played. Just because it has virtually no balance and issues. The only problem it has is that obviously in the meta, some characters are good, some characters are bad, but that's bound to happen. But it's just so well designed. But Dota's so hard. It's the hardest game I've ever played. I was never going to be good enough to get anywhere in Dota. I soon realised that.
So you're way better at LOL then?
Way better. It's just an easier game. Just so much easier. Not that it's easy, because it's not. League of Legends is still an insanely hard game to grasp and play and to master. But comparing the two, it's no competition. Dota 2 is far and away harder and better.
Do you still find time to play other games?
Oh, certainly. If I, like I picked up Sleeping Dogs last week, like I said yesterday on the podcast. I played that for 2 days straight. I didn't play any League of Legends. I played Sleeping Dogs 2 days straight, finished it, moved back onto LoL.
So, because you're using a lot of time for LOL, do you think you're more selective now
Certainly.
compared to back then?
Yeah, unless if that's the problem I have with the current market, because most adverts and trailers that come out for games are normally predetermined and don't actually show any of the gameplay, which is a massive problem for me in the current market, because almost no game brings out a gameplay trailer, and it kind of makes me wonder what they're trying to hide. And it's why I've got such a cynical view on AAA recently. It's because they always seem like they're trying to hide something about the games they're releasing. Like with Watch Dogs, when they had the review embargo. I don't know whether you heard about that, but they had an embargo.
I'm not sure if I remember.
Well, they had an embargo on all reviews pre-release. No one was allowed to. It's like an injunction.
But isn't that pretty normal in the AAA scene?
No,
embargoes are everywhere.
No, not a review embargo of that magnitude. Not a single publication was allowed to do a pre-release review.
So they can only put up after release?
Yes. Which is a problem, because when a company does that, it shows you that they don't have any faith in the game, because they're so worried that people will bash on it in the reviews that the sales won't do so good. So they embargo all the reviews, and then millions of people buy it on day one before hearing the reviews that come out. They make pocket, and all the gamers can suck a fat dick as far as they're concerned. But it's just the AAA scene is just so crap. It used to be, they used to bring out the best games in the world. And it seems more and more so that is not the case anymore. So yeah, I'm certainly more selective. I only usually I only play games now that I've already played and enjoyed. I tried playing Mad Max, which I'd never played before. Didn't like it. A while back, while I was properly playing
the reviews are mixed on that.
Yeah, I don't really like it, but meh. And then way back when, I can remember I picked up Assassin's Creed 4 for the first time while I was playing League of Legends, and I loved it. That was the only reason I played Assassin's Creed 4, though, is because everyone I met told me I needed to play it. So I played it and I enjoyed it. But I struggle to find games that I can just people who don't play League of Legends already, game that takes all that much time, can just say, "Oh, I'll play it, and if I don't like it, then whatever." But in my eyes, I'm wasting time if I do that. I could be using that time to get better at League and eventually possibly make a career out of it. So yeah, it's not easy, but I find time where I can.
So, how did you get your start in gaming? Like, what was your first gaming memory that you can remember?
I was on my granddad had a Commodore 64.
Nice.
And I played Monkey Island 2 or Monkey Island 1. Monkey Island 1, I think, on the Commodore, and I loved it. But my first proper gaming memory was playing I was playing on the PS1. And the first game memory I can remember playing PS1, I think it was Parappa the Rapper was one of the first games I ever played on PS1.
I don't think I've ever played that. Yeah,
it's a brilliant game. I loved it, and I also played your general Crash Bandicoot and all that.
Yeah.
But then my first PC memory was playing Monkey Island 3. I played Monkey Island 3 on the PC, and that still stands as one of my all-time favorite games. And after I played that, I fell in love with point-and-click adventures. I played everyone I could get my hands on. My granddad had Grim Fandango. I played that. He had Day of the Tentacle, Maniac Mansion. He even had some of the Leisure Suit Larrys. I played them. King's Quest. Yeah, I fell in love with point and clicks, and I still am. So I have a lot. My granddad is the reason I got into gaming. He loves games. He still does.
No, nice.
He's currently playing Tomb Raider, the newest Tomb Raider that came out
On the PC or
on the PC. Yeah, he loves it. So yeah, but I used to be a console gamer. I used to own a PS3.
how old is your granddad?
Oh, he's about 70 now, 68, something like that. Can't remember exactly. Pretty old though.
How is his like hand-eye coordination and all that?
Not terribly good anymore. It used to be very good, but because he used to work in the pit and stuff. Mines, sorry. He used to work in the mines.
But I guess I think gaming can probably help you maintain some of that.
Oh, certainly.
Rather than I don't think it deteriorates as fast if you game regularly.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think that gaming can give you a lot of skills that
And
other
benefits,
things can't. Which is why I hate it. Why video games get such a bad rap, because they've helped me so much. I mean, people ask me all the time why I waste my time doing what I do, and it's sad to me that almost none of the people I know in my life properly understand why I do what I do. Games helped me a lot when I was a kid.
How has it molded or affected you?
Oh, it's made me who I am. I was surprise, I was bullied in school, really badly. I was bullied so bad in primary school that I left. I left my school. I was in a bad way, but I could always go home and pick up the controller for PS1 and just lose myself for a few hours. You know, games. People wonder why gamers are so attached to the games they play. It's because they're not just games to people like me. They were a way to escape the problems I had. I, just lose myself in a story. That's why I'm so big on stories in games, because I used to lose myself in games.
That's why the games have this dynamic where the people consuming it get so attached compared to like maybe a book or a movie. I do think that a lot of people who read books are super attached to the characters and all that, but being in control gives you another element.
Yeah, and it's because it's the new thing, the new thing in our generation. You know, it used to be books, then it was movies, and now it's games. We are the first generation to properly grow up with the PS1, the PS2, those types of things. The consoles that molded our generation, and I have so much to thank to games, because I wouldn't have been nearly as happy as I was when I was a child without games. And even now, I'm never happier than when I'm playing games. It makes me so happy. That's why I'm so massive on stories in games, because I love to lose myself in the story, which is why I'm disappointed when stories are shit, because it just kind of takes me out of what I play games for.
I really want good stories. It's just that I've played so many games to know that sometimes the writing can be pretty shit.
Most of the time.
Yeah. I feel that writers are like people who couldn't get jobs in Hollywood or something, and they go to games.
I think it's more difficult than that. I think in Hollywood, it's a predetermined sequence. So it's so hard to take an interactive medium such as gaming.
Yeah, that's one thing, yeah.
And mold a really good story out of it. Some people do it better than others. World of Warcraft is one of the best stories in history, in my opinion. It has some of the best lore in any franchise ever. Most of Blizzard's stuff have incredible stories. StarCraft has an awesome story. So does World of Warcraft. Diablo even had a great story. So it shows that it can be done. I think the point, if you want a good story, you go to an adventure game. Adventure games have been writing good stories for
Yeah,
for a long time.
it's easier because adventure games has less interactivity compared to other games.
Yeah, the like gameplay is it's point and click.
Yeah.
There's
You're
not much
basically
more to it.
moving a story, while like an action game, there's so many other stuff to think of when you're writing the story.
Yeah, there's not much to it in a point and click. It's just
If a point and click has shitty story, then it's
it's there's no bother playing it.
yeah.
That's why that's why Broken Age was so crap in my opinion, because the story was just all over the fucking place. It was just didn't make a lot of sense. So it wasn't a very good game to me. But I think that it's hard to say how much games have affected me, because it's basically changed everything about myself. You know, I'm basically attempting to make a living off of games. That's how much games have affected me. You know, I love them so much I want to play them and make money off them. And I think I'm having fun. I mean, even if I'm not earning a lot of money off it, I'm having fun with it. You know, I enjoy it. I enjoy playing League of Legends every day, or almost every day. Just climbing the ladder. Like you said, it's a valid question. You know, most people probably would get bored with playing the same game over and over again. And I don't really know why I don't, to be honest with you. I wish I could answer that, but I don't know why I'm so drawn to games like League of Legends and StarCraft.
Do you actually feel happy when you play LOL?
Yes. Because I just love the intricacies of it. I love knowing that it was more so in StarCraft. League of Legends is a bit different, but in StarCraft, the reason I liked it so much is because it was one-on-one. You know, if I won, it's because I'm better than the other person.
Doesn't it get frustrating at times for LOL?
Oh, certainly. But all good things frustrate you. You know, even the greatest jobs in the world are frustrating at times. There's no perfect job. There's no perfect hobby. You know, you're always going to get frustrated at some point down the line. But I used to get more frustrated than I do now. I'm way more laid back than I used to be. I just live and let live. And I just move on to the next one and carry on having fun. I mean, I wouldn't play League of Legends if it wasn't fun. That's just a waste of time. But yeah.
So, if let's say, because you play a lot of point and click, so if somebody who hasn't played any point and click, what would you recommend for them to like start? Maybe the first 3. I think what I'm asking is like, what's your top 3 point and click adventure games of all time?
Grim Fandango, longest. In fact, well, the best point and click adventure game ever made for me is The Longest Journey. The Longest Journey is my favorite game on the planet. No other game comes close to being The Longest Journey. The Longest Journey has one of the best stories I've ever seen.
Doesn't it have like a sequel or something?
Yeah, it's got Dreamfall, and Dreamfall chapters came out last year.
Is it as good?
Not as good, but it's still far and away above most of the trough that's out there nowadays. And then there's a new one coming out after this one called The Longest Journey Home, which is going back to the 2D point and click style, which I'm really excited about. So yeah, Longest Journey, Grim Fandango has got to be up there. Grim Fandango is incredible. Still one of my favorite games to date. And Monkey Island. Monkey Island has got to be mentioned if you're talking about point and click adventures. Monkey Island is so good. It's so well written. And it's just feels really good to play. Just because like the problem with The Longest Journey had sometimes is that the puzzles were a bit weird. And by weird I mean shit. Not in a they were poorly designed, it's just they were too hard for the layman. It'd take half an hour to an hour to sort out some of the problems in Longest Journey, some of the puzzles.
The first one?
Yeah. The point and click one, the proper point and click one, not the 3D ones.
The 3D ones aren't point and click?
They are, but they're 3D, so they're not really. It's like The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead isn't actually a point and click.
Okay.
It's an esque type of game. But The Longest Journey was like the old Monkey Islands. It was a 2D point and click. And it was amazing, but some of the puzzles were a bit weird and a bit hard. But Monkey Island never really had that problem. The puzzles were really well crafted, and the main character is one of my favourite protagonists in history. Guybrush Threepwood is one of the funniest characters in media. So yeah, probably those three: Longest Journey, Grim Fandango, and Monkey Island. And if I had to choose a Monkey Island, personally, three is my favourite, but the first two are amazingly good too.
So, what are the games that inspired you? Because you said gaming has had a huge impact on you. So, what are the particular games that actually did impact you?
To be honest with you, when I was younger, there wasn't any particular, because a lot of people out there say, "Oh, Final Fantasy or Doom or Command and Conquer." There wasn't a specific game where I went which inspired me per se. I just wanted to play games. I was just having so much fun playing games. So it was just stories with it was mostly stories with games with well-crafted stories, which are harder to come by nowadays, but back in the day there were tons of them. Because they had less to work with graphically, so they didn't have to worry about it. Mm-hmm. The problem nowadays is that games have to have all these fucking bright, spanking new lights and great graphics, and it leaves less time and less memory on the disc to dedicate yourself to the story and the gameplay, which I see as a big problem in the current industry. I think that graphics are put on a pedestal when they shouldn't be. I think the graphics aren't nearly as important as people make them out to be. But you didn't have that problem on the PS1 and the PS2. They worked with what they've got. I mean, one of my favourite games of all time, Silent Hill 2, was on the PS1. And it was great. I loved Silent Hill 2. So yeah, there's no really specific games. If I had to choose a game that I played the most as a child, it's Dune 2000.
Oh, okay.
Dune 2000 I played that every day for about 3 years. I loved that game. I'd go around to my granddad's because we didn't have a PC at my house when I was a child, but my granddad had a really good PC. So I'd go around to my grandparents every day after school and play Dune 2000. I'd play the campaign over and over again. I loved Dune 2000. It was amazing.
He sounds like a cool guy, your granddad.
He is. He's a great guy. I love him to bits.
What does he think about the current gaming like?
He's because he played games as a child, but he's never really distinguished himself as a gamer. But he's played games throughout most of my life.
Does he complain, saying things like it's not as good as he used to be or anything like that? Not
really. He just enjoys playing them from time. He spends a couple of hours a day playing on Metro 2033 or Tomb Raider or Far Cry. He was playing Far Cry not long ago. He just enjoys playing games, a bit like I was when I was younger. The only reason I'm really critical nowadays is because I care about the gaming industry so much. And people who listen to the podcast might think that I'm being cynical just to be cynical. That's not the case. I don't want games to be bad. I don't want to dislike games. I really don't. I hate disliking games. I mean, it's fun to talk about, but it's not a great feeling to play a game that absolutely sucks. I just want the gaming industry to grow and learn from the mistakes, which they fucking aren't doing. I want to play every game and think, wow, this is a masterpiece. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. So that's why I became critical, because I saw the way the gaming industry was going, and it was downhill, and it still is for the most part. And we're in a new kind of era where there was a few years back in the early 2000s, and especially the late 90s, where the point and click adventure was dying, which was up until then the biggest genre in the world.
Oh yeah.
There was a couple of years where people didn't really know what was going on. You had Quake and stuff like that, which were pretty big. But most games out there, especially when E.T. came out as well, obviously the gaming industry nearly crashed because there was just garbage coming out, derivatives of everything out there that just crashed the market and no one wanted to play games anymore. That was bad. But I think where we're at now is even worse because it's gotten to a point now where mediocrity is disguised as good. And that's really upsetting to me. I think that the gaming industry can do so much better than it is, but yet people still buy these really mediocre games and then dress them up as the best thing on the planet today, and they're not. And that's worse in my eyes because the gaming industry has become complacent. They no longer innovate and try to create new things. They just rehash the same old shit over and over again, and that's really upsetting to me. They just almost don't care anymore. You know, as long as they're making money, that's all that matters. But that's just me, I guess.
Do you think that games helped you forge connection with other people?
Certainly. Not on as big a level as some people maybe out there who played WoW since vanilla, and because I know people out there that have met lifelong friends over gaming. I met people in my school through games, but never on a worldwide scale, apart from you guys with this podcast. But for the most part, I've never made any friends through games, apart from within my own hometown. So I'm a bit different than most people. A lot of people out there will say, "Oh, I made tons of friends on WoW or StarCraft." Or me, I just used games to get close to the gamers in school, so I could become friends with them because all of my school friends played games. So that's the way that
must be nice.
Yeah, it was nice. I liked it. I still do. Most of them still do play games.
One of the biggest reasons I started the podcast in the first place is because I couldn't find anyone to talk about it or anything like that.
I kind of have that problem because although we are gamers, we do like to talk about other shit. So we don't get to talk about games as much as I'd probably like. But it's still nice, I suppose, and it has helped me build some great friendships. Games have, and I just can't think of a bad thing to say about the gaming industry as a whole. It has its cons and its pros, but for the most part, the gaming industry is a wonderful thing. It helps bring people together. It helps people express themselves, create art that people can play. I think that's a great thing. I think it helps people, kids like me, who probably don't have school life as good as they probably wish. So they have, a place to go where they can just let it all out. Which again is why I played games as a kid. So yeah, I think it's just such an amazing thing to me.
What would you say your best gaming memory would be?
My best gaming memory. Oh. My best gaming memory was probably the day I got to Diamond in StarCraft 2. That was the first ever professional game I played. Competitive game I played. Properly competitive. And when I got to Diamond in StarCraft, although it's not Master or Grandmaster, that was probably the best memory I had. And just to try and get to a place where I'm better than most people on the planet, that was amazing to me. And it still is. That's why I'm trying on League of Legends, just to say that you're better than 70, 80, 90% of the planet. That is such an amazing thing to me. And why I have so much respect for esports as a whole. Mostly out of jealousy and envy, but also because it just demands respect in my eyes. But yeah, just and also apart from that, probably just finishing Monkey Island was a great memory for me. And, playing through The Longest Journey was an amazing experience. Because before The Longest Journey, I'd never played a game with such incredible depth. I played Deus Ex, that's probably a lie. I played Deus Ex, which was very, very deep. But Longest Journey was the first time that I was really blown away by a story in a game. I'd never experienced that before. So that was an amazing thing too.
So, for people who listen to the podcast, I think they know you were a pro gamer and you stream.
Yeah.
So how did you started in your pro gaming stuff? How did you get started on that?
So when I got onto League of Legends, that's when I started. Well, no, actually, it was about when I was playing StarCraft 2. I started watching esports. I started watching MLG, but before StarCraft, MLG never really interested me because it was all Call of Duty and Halo and Counter-Strike 1.6. It didn't really interest me. So when StarCraft 2 came out, I started watching the professional tournaments, and I was just blown away about how good these guys were, just how talented they were, and I wanted to be like them. But I didn't really give much thought to it in StarCraft because StarCraft, in my eyes, was way above my league in terms of playing it professionally. And then same thing with basically Dota and LoL. But then I picked up Counter-Strike Go, and I just played it, not casually, but I didn't really care about being good. But I just kept on climbing the ladder. And I got to like LEM, and one day someone offered me to try out for a team, Team Acclimate. And they let me onto the team on the B team. But then we had problems where I couldn't play on American servers, and they're an American team. So what was going to happen was they were going to form a European team. We did a few scrims against some European teams. Then something happened in the team, a falling out, a disagreement, and the owner disbanded the team. So that I don't like calling myself a pro gamer, because in my eyes, a pro gamer is someone who earns money consistently from playing games. I haven't earned really pretty much any money playing games. I only call myself a pro gamer because it's the easiest thing to say. I did play games on a professional level, but it's a bit of a weird thing. So, but that's how I got into a team and stuff like that, and I loved it. I loved being able to play with people that were on my level, and I could talk to about the game or about what happened during the day. It was a community more than anything, which is brilliant. So yeah, I've never liked calling myself a pro gamer. I think it's offensive to call myself a pro gamer because I'm not. It's offensive to people who are on big teams and do earn a lot of money. But I only say that because it's the easiest thing to call myself. But streaming, I watched Destiny. He was my favorite streamer for a long time. I watched Day9. I watched him for a long time. And one day I just thought, I'll try it out. Why not? So I started streaming StarCraft 2. And even though I didn't get a lot of viewers, I loved the thought of people tuning in to watch. People were sticking around to watch me play a game. That was really cool to me. And it just stuck around since then. I've been doing streaming for about 3 years. And although it hasn't really gone anywhere, I still enjoy it. So it's probably what you were expecting. I just watched it and then decided I wanted to do it.
So, you're a huge Day9 fan, right?
Yes.
Do you know about Atlas?
What the game is making?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what is that about?
It's an RTS.
Is there any like leaks or anything?
No, he has unless there has been outside of his stream. No, he doesn't talk really about the game at all on his stream.
What is his role on that team?
Oh, I think he's a programmer, and he's also oversees some of the projects and stuff. He's a big part of it. He's Day9 is one of my favorite people on the planet. He is just an incredible guy. Anyone out there who wants to know how incredible Day9 is, he did he does this thing called Day9 Storytime, where he just tells the stream a story that's happened in his life, a true story. And he did one called My Life as a Caster, My Life as a Professional Caster. And that was the first time I'd ever seen someone on the internet open up like that. And that was incredible to me. He talked about how he was a pro gamer in StarCraft 1 and he played at WCG, and the best part of the whole episode was that he had to face his brother. His brother's Tasteless. Tasteless is also a caster for StarCraft 2. And he had to face his brother in a WCG, and he beat him, and he started crying on stream because it was just really emotional for him. He had to kick his brother out of a tournament, and it was a massive moment for him. That was the first time I ever watched someone and watched them open up like that to people on the internet, because you never really think about people doing that because the internet's a horrible place. So it was nice to see someone, and he still does it. It's nice to see someone tell stories about their life. It's great. Day9 is this just an incredible person for me.
So what's your plan for your stream?
To be honest with you,
you've recently changed to YouTube Gaming, right?
Yes, but I don't know. I've been struggling with this recently. It's not going anywhere. That's the problem, and eventually I'm gonna have to make a decision.
What do you stream most of the time? LOL.
League of Legends.
It's a pretty tough market to fight.
Certainly, but I don't want to be a variety streamer. I like playing League of Legends. So one of the two things is going to happen. Either one, someone watches my stream out there one day and word of mouth gets out and it goes up that way. Or two, I become professional and that way. Or three, eventually I'm going to have to make a decision to get a proper job and not...
Get a real job, you mean? That's what they like to say. A real job, yeah.
No, a full-time job. And eventually I might have to make the decision to not pursue my dream anymore. And that's really sad to me. I don't like to think about it. But eventually that day might come where I just have to pack it up and decide that enough is enough.
Ever thought of doing YouTube? Like not stream, like record and upload on YouTube?
I've thought about it, but not really. It's too much for me. I've always wanted to be collaborative with someone, but the thought of running my own YouTube channel doesn't really interest me a lot. This is why I like doing this podcast, because it's not on me. I show up every week. Obviously, I share on Twitter and stuff, but I show up every week, do my job, and then that's it for me. That's what I've always liked doing. I'm a very, I'm a worker. I don't run my own shit. I'm not good at that. I'm good at doing what I'm told. So that's why I like doing this podcast. I like showing up every week, making people laugh. Hopefully, because that's why I always thought I might be good as a streamer, because I've always thought I'm quite a funny person, or at least a relatable person, or I don't know what the word is. Someone that people could, just a character. I think I've achieved that, but maybe I'm fucking completely wrong. But I always thought that I had that to offer in streaming. I've always thought I'm quite a funny guy. Maybe that's a bit self-centered, but I've always been able to make people laugh. So but that's why I like doing the podcast. It's great fun, and I can just do my job and then come back the next week, do my job. You know what I mean?
Yep. Totally know what you mean. I feel sometimes. I wish somebody could like take over for a week or sometimes.
Yeah,
I can see why. But after all is said and done, after the editing and uploading and everything, it feels very satisfying to see your stuff up.
I can imagine. I'm just I have the same problem I had when I was back in school. I'm not lazy per se, but if I'm not interested in something, I will not put effort into it. And not by choice, I just can't do it. That's why I've always had a huge problem with just getting, like a 9 to 5.
Oh
Like
yes, yeah.
that's the big problem I've always had with that because I can't do something that makes me miserable. I just can't do it physically. It makes me too depressed. So I always need to be doing something that makes me happy, which is why it's such a. I don't like to think about what's going to happen 2 years down the line because I may have to give this up, and I don't
Yeah.
like the thought of that. It really upsets me. So I just. But the same with YouTube. I don't really have a massive interest in doing it. So if I did do it, it would just be shit because I wouldn't put my all into it, which I'd rather not do it at all than do it half-arsed. So probably will never go onto YouTube. Maybe I will one day if my mind changes, but at the moment I don't see myself doing YouTube now.
Yeah, I'm kind of struggling with that right now because I have a 9 to 6 job, and
Oh, okay.
but I feel happiest when I'm actually doing the podcast and other stuff.
Yeah.
But I need the money. I need the money.
I totally get that.
Yep.
I'm lucky. I'm so lucky with my life, especially the position I'm in now, because I have a family that loves me so much, and a family that wants me to achieve my dreams. So they do help me financially, and I can never thank them enough for that.
That's super cool.
Yeah, and I never take it for granted. I may not talk about it all the time, but I know how much my parents have done for me, and I can never thank them enough. They have allowed me to follow my passion and help me. I did get a part-time job recently because I felt personally bad for basically sponging is probably the right word. So that's why I got a part-time job recently, and it's only part-time. I've got enough money to pay for everything, so that's great. But I want this podcast to work out so much, and I don't see why it wouldn't. I think it's a great podcast. I can honestly see it becoming popular. It's just hitting the right crowd.
We've been getting a lot of. If we get feedback, it was always good feedback. So that was very surprising to me, actually.
I mean, and it was so nice when Dave Mayer, is it Meyer?
Who?
The Podcast Without Borders.
Diamond Dave.
Yeah, I think but I think on Skype his name's Dave Meyer, I think.
Oh yeah, Dave Meyer, yeah.
When you were doing your playonultra versus with him, he said how much he likes me on the show.
Oh yeah, he does.
That was great for me. I loved hearing that because I've never really heard that before.
Yeah, that was super cool, yeah.
I've never heard any feedback from my stream, really, apart from friends, but, you expect them to say that kind of stuff.
He actually gave me a shout out on one of his episodes. I was listening to an episode, then suddenly my name came up. I'm like, fucking hell, that's super cool.
Yeah, because I didn't even know he said that on the playonultra versus. I was just watching it. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then obviously I started talking to him. He's a great guy. But that was great, hearing him say how much he likes me on the podcast. That was a great moment.
You certainly bring a different element that we need, I think. Everybody plays a part. That's for sure.
Yeah. I think but nowadays it's hard to find a person with a contentious opinion because I think the reason why most people don't do what I do is because they've been doing it for so long that they just can't be asked anymore. I'm still fighting the battle. I'm still bitching about all these games that are coming out. I think that most people out there have been bitching about AAA for so long that they just don't want to bitch anymore, which I completely understand. But I think it's hard to find someone who's willing to stand up and say that they're... Because I respect everyone's opinion, and I respect their right to like what they like, but I still enjoy standing up and calling people out and what they do. I've always enjoyed that. Maybe in a cynical way, but nonetheless, I enjoy doing it. But yeah, I'm glad to be part of it, to be honest. It's a great feeling.
Everybody has a style. It doesn't matter if it's YouTube or streaming. So what kind of style is your channel?
I'm just humor. I've always prided myself on my sense of humor because it's all right talking to other British people because that's all the British people. But when you open it up to the world, it's interesting talking to people from Malaysia, from America, from Australia. Maybe not Australia; they're very similar to us, banter-wise. But from Germany and all these places, because especially Americans, because they don't get the British humor sometimes. So I like to think my stream. I just like to incorporate a bit of I like to make people laugh. I've always loved to entertain and make people laugh.
I always preferred British comedy.
Yeah, same here.
My favorite stand-ups are always British. I mean, I love my Josh Carlin and my Kevin Hart. Good.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose, I would choose the Brits every single time.
It's because it's dark humor. I love dark humor. America's very light-hearted humor. Apart from like Louis C.K., most of American comedians are very light-hearted and stuff like that.
And the black comedians, they go for the racial stuff and all that, which is done to death already.
But I still like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it is entertaining from time to time. But in the end, the Brits are still the best, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, I love British comedians. Because they're just...
Kevin Hart's really funny, though.
Yeah. But British comedians are so cynical.
Oh, yes.
Because that's our country for you. We're very cynical people.
I think my favorite... The guy who got me into stand-up was Eddie Izzard.
Eddie Izzard's good.
I'm not super into his newer stuff, but his older stuff is fucking hilarious.
Richard Pryor was the guy who got me into stand-up comedy.
Oh, an American.
Yeah, Richard Pryor is still my favorite comedian to date. Richard Pryor was amazing. But yeah, and Louis C.K. is my favorite comedian at the minute. I love Louis C.K. He's got a very British-esque kind of thing to him because he's very dark. I
liked him in the what is that show called? The one with Chris Pratt and Amy Poehler. Fuck.
I know he has his own show called Louis.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah. Parks and Recreation. Parks and Rec. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Parks and Rec. Yeah.
He was in like season 1 or something. I can remember quite a few. Yeah.
Louis C.K.'s hilarious. I love him. But I was watching Jim Jeffries last night. Oh, he's a funny fucker.
He's very. He's certainly not for the easily offended guy.
No, certainly not. But I like Frankie Boyle and stuff like that. I love offensive comedy, like Jimmy Carr and Frankie Boyle and stuff. I love offensive comedy because I've always adopted the notion that if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Like, there's never a reason not to make a joke about something. I don't care how horrible something is to talk about. There is no reason not to make a joke out of it. You know them people that get offended by cancer jokes and stuff like this? I've never been one of those people. I've known people with cancer and stuff like that. I just love comedy. It's a great... It brings life to dark situations.
I think people don't understand the difference between using a situation as an insult and using it in a stand-up skit.
Yeah.
And more often than not, the comedians actually have something to say. Rather than just being very insulting, they actually have something to say if you really understand what they're talking about.
Yes,
especially George Carlin and Eddie Izzard, or
George Carlin certainly, especially when it comes to religion.
Oh yes, that's my favorite bits from him.
Yeah, same here. I love religion, comedians that bash religion. Not because I hate. I do kind of hate religion. I hate organized religion. I don't hate faith.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with you wanting to believe what you want. Just I don't think that it should be part of like institution or the government or the schools.
Yeah, organized religion is cancer. Like the Church of England and all this stuff.
What about Dave Chappelle? Do you like Dave Chappelle?
I love Dave Chappelle. The Dave Chappelle show is still one of my favorite
He's
TV shows.
fucking jacked right now. Have you seen him? Any pictures of him like recently?
I know that he went crazy for a bit, didn't
He
Went
came
to
back
Africa,
and now he's pretty roided out.
he? Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, I ain't seen him.
Have you heard of Bill Burr?
Yep.
Yeah, I like him. He actually has a podcast. Well, he just
Really?
he talks shit like it's just him alone talking shit. It's pretty good.
Oh, interesting.
So
There you go.
I like that he hosts his own podcast, because a lot of times celebrities will have like somebody else hosting and they are just there to like lend the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like that he hosts it.
I mean, I just love comedy. I always have stand-up comedy. Love it.
Yeah. It's definitely one of my like favorite things, and I would say stand-up comedy kind of helped mold me into who I am today. I would say, yeah. It had that impact on me.
Oh, cool.
I would say it was one of the biggest reasons I'm an atheist right now.
It's hard being religious in England. Especially where I live. It's hard to be religious.
I hear the numbers are getting more and more into like atheism and stuff like that.
Yeah, massively. Almost where I live.
In Europe,
almost,
especially the entire continent. Yeah.
In England, not in England, where I live in my town, in my county, almost no one I've come across is religious. Most people are atheist.
How much power does the church still have in England?
Depends on what. For religious-based reasons, obviously a lot, but for most things, not a lot. It's like, do you know when gay marriage got legalized?
Yeah.
You're still not allowed to get married in a Church of England, a BOE.
Oh.
BOE, sorry. You're not allowed. It's against the law to marry two men and two women inside the Church of England.
Right. But is it legal to sign documents? No.
I think so. I think the way it comes, especially with marriage, you can go to any church that isn't a Church of England, and then the head vicar, is the guy who decides whether he'll let it happen or not, essentially.
So in England, if you want to get married, you have to do it in a church regardless of your beliefs?
No, you can get married anyway.
Oh, okay.
But if you wanted to get married in a church,
right.
can't be a Church of England. And then if it isn't a Church of England, you have to have permission from the dude who runs the church, essentially. But most gay marriages just obviously don't take place in a fucking church.
Was it a big uproar over there when they legalized marriage in
no,
the gay marriage?
Because English people aren't fucking retarded. I mean, obviously you had the odd person outraged by it, but we're just not idiots. Like all them rednecks in America that went mad over it, they're just retarded. That's all that is.
I read an Australian couple said if Australia legalized gay marriage, they would like jump off the building or something.
Let them fucking legalize it. Let them jump. I don't give a fuck. Like Australia is weird though. Australia
they're very European at times, but they're very American at times.
Like they're tolerant of all things, but they're intolerant of every person. They hate everyone. But they normally don't really care about gay marriage and stuff. They're just like whatever.
Australians are very mishmash of stuff.
Yeah, but they're very laid back normally, unless it's cricket
or rugby.
They go mad. Or rugby, yeah, but mostly cricket. The Ashes.
So that's interesting. I didn't know that. So, is religion controlled in some way in like in the UK?
To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know how much power the church has.
But you do have mosques and like Chinese Buddhist temples and all that, right?
Yeah. We do have mosques and stuff, but I don't know how much of an impact religion has on the country. Obviously, you know, people still bitch about Muslims and stuff. It's fucking retarded. We still have those people that are really racist about Muslims and stuff, but you're going to get that anywhere.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know specifically what power they have, to be honest with you, because I don't like religion. I don't like to read into it.
It's the opposite over here. So it's like it's difficult to be an atheist over here.
I can imagine so. Yeah, Asia's normally the case.
Yeah, Europeans are very progressive. I feel socially, especially.
I think so. Yeah, because we just live and let live. We don't really care. Because no one I know is racist. No one I know is anything like that, sexist, anything like that. Because we just don't care. We let people get on with what they're doing. But yeah, I don't really know. Religion, I don't like. To be honest with you, I don't like talking about religion because it upsets me. Because it makes me sad. Because in my eyes, people who are religious are wasting their lives following a book. It's
a €2,000 book.
Yeah, it's hard to be religious because you have to follow all these really strict rules, and it upsets me that they're essentially wasting their life for an afterlife that, in my opinion, isn't going to come, and that really upsets me. So I don't like to talk about it. I just leave people to what they're doing, essentially.
The biggest reason why is just because I'm a bit more of a scientific person, I would say.
Same here.
So it's like, if something doesn't make sense to me, then it just doesn't make sense to me. But I was actually a believer when I was a kid, because as a kid, I wasn't told to believe what I want. I was told to believe what they wanted.
Yep.
Yeah.
Over here, we don't have that problem.
Yeah. And because as a kid, I think most kids are pretty impressionable, because I wasn't a rebel or anything, right?
Yeah, certainly.
So yeah. That was a transformation that I went through, I guess.
Most kids who are religious nowadays are only religious because their parents told them they should be. Almost no... Do you know, right, this is the thing about religion that really makes me laugh. If every child on the planet was left to their own devices, they were given every religious book, and then they read them. No one told them to believe in anything. Their parents didn't say they believed in God or what they believed in. They just let the kid do what they wanted. Almost no one would be religious. Almost everyone would be an atheist if you left them to it. Most people are religious because their parents were religious. And it led on like that. Penn from Penn and Teller, the magic...
Oh, yeah. I love him.
Guys.
Yeah.
Penn Jillette is a
atheist. Huge.
He's a huge atheist. I had to call it atheist.
He actually has a TV show, right?
Yeah.
Going around, yeah.
And he said, which was really stuck with me, he was on The Big Think, which I talked about yesterday. And he said that if someone asked him that they, were talking to him, and they said that they were thinking about being an atheist and what should they do to confirm their feelings, he said, read the Bible. If you read the Bible cover to cover, you probably will come out of that an atheist. Because the Bible is so fucking stupid that no one could read that. No one can read the Bible cover to cover without any outside influence and believe it's true. You'd have to be insane to read it and come out a religious person.
In the end, like I said, I'm totally okay with whatever you want to believe. It's just the people that get overzealous with their beliefs, trying to force it on others, or like just thinking that their way is the only one that's true.
I don't think it's as simple as that. I used to think like that, but I don't think it's that simple. I certainly feel a lot of problems in the world will go away if there's no religion. That's what I feel. But there's always going to be something to fight about. That's the problem. War isn't just going to stop because religion's gone. People will find something else to fight over. That's the human way. There's always something that people are going to fight over. And if it's not religion, it's going to be something else. And I think the reason that Christians, for example, like, try and not force their beliefs on you, but like do that kind of stuff is because they're trying to save you from a lifetime, an eternity of agony. Which, in fairness, when you think about it that way, they're actually doing a good thing in their mind. Obviously, it can be annoying, but they're being nice about it because they're trying to save you an eternity of agony. But I never go to a religious person and just go, "You're stupid," because that's just rude. But if a religious person asks me why I believed what I believe, I'd have no fear in telling them why. I think that being religious is cowardly. I think that you're only doing it because you're afraid of nothing happening after you're gone. And it's a completely human thing to do. You know, it's human to think about that and make up this fairy tale in which you live forever on a cloud. I think that's completely human. I think it's cowardly. I think if you were, you know, it's just you wanting so much there to be something that you need to make up a thing for something to happen, if you get me. So yeah, not cowardly in a bad way though. It's just I think it's a very...
It's human, yeah.
It's an easy way out. It's I don't want to think about being dead forever.
The one with the less pain or something, yeah.
Yeah, way less pain. I mean, I think religion is retarded, but I don't think it's stupid to believe in it. I think it's a human thing to do. But the concept of religion is so stupid. A man in the sky that created the world in 7 days and all this bullshit is crazy. But it's human to believe in it. So that's why I don't hold it against anyone. So yeah.
I look at religion as a way to explain things in the olden days and a way to control people. It was a early form of government / science.
Yes, it was. It was a way to explain the unexplainable. But
again, and to control a mass amount of people without, because back then there was no, there was tyrants and stuff. Yeah,
exactly. But I think on the point that it's explaining the explainable, I think that's kind of cowardly as well, and it's kind of, again, an easy way out. I can't explain this, so I'm just going to associate it with this thing that sorts everything out for me. I think it's lazy. I think that's why scientists do what they do, because they can't settle for that. They have to believe that something explains it. But religion is kind of lazy in my eyes. It's like, I can't explain this, so I'm just going to associate it with this thing. And that's it. That's done. I don't have to think about it anymore. But again, not a bad thing. Do you? Like, go ahead. Whatever. I mean, if it makes you happy, then good for you, I guess.
So that's a normal progression of the playonultra podcast.
Certainly.
We talk about games and then we talk about other stuff.
Yes, we do.
So yeah, I'm out of questions. So why don't you tell the good people like how they can find you?
Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube Gaming, all under Coddi Gaming, CODDI Gaming.
One word?
Yes, one word.
Cool. And I'm Pupunoob everywhere on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and you've been listening to the playonultra podcast spin-off called Versus. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter as playonultra. You can also, if you're listening to us on YouTube, do help us to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Tell us what you think about anything we've talked about. If you're listening to us on any podcast directories like iTunes or Stitcher, do help us by leaving a rating and leaving us a review. So yeah, that's it for today. Bye bye guys.
What?